Om Sairam, Sri Sai Charitra, Chapter 26. Stories of Bhaktaban, Harichandra Pidale, and Gopal Rao Ambekar. Preliminary. All the things that we see in the universe are nothing but a play of Maya, the creative power of the Lord. These things do not really exist. What really exists is the real absolute. Just as we mistake a rope of a garland or a stick for a serpent on account of darkness, we always see the phenomena, that is, things as they outwardly appear and not the phenomenon which underlies all the visible things. It is only the Sadguru that opens the eyes of our understanding and enables us to see things in their true light, not as they appear. Let us therefore worship and Sadguru and pray to him to give us a true vision, which is nothing but God vision. Inner worship. Hemadban has given us a novel form of worship. Let us, he says, use hot water in the form of tears of joy to wash the Sadguru's feet. Let us besmear his body with sandal paste of pure love. Let us cover his body with the cloth of true faith. Let us offer 8 lotuses in the form of our 8 sattvic emotions and fruit in the form of our concentrated mind. Let us apply to his head black powder in the form of devotion and tie the waistband of bhakti and place our head on his toes. After decorating the Sadguru with all jewelry in this way, let us offer our all to him and wave charmer of devotion to ward of heat. After such blissful worship, let us pray thus: introvert our mind, turn it inward, give us discrimination between the unreal and the real and non-attachment for our worldly things, and thus enable us get self-realization. We surrender ourselves body and soul, body consciousness and ego. Make our eyes yours so that we should never feel pleasure and pain. Control our body and mind as you will and wish. Let our mind get rest in your feet. Now let us turn to the stories of this chapter. Bhaktaban. Once it so happened that a devotee by name Ban, a disciple, another Sadguru, had a good fortune of visiting Shiradi. He had no mind to go to Shiradi, but man proposes one way and God disposes the other. He was travelling in a BB and CJ railway train where the many friends and relations bound of Shiradi. They all asked him to accompany them and he could not say any. They alighted at Bombay while Pan got down the Virar. There he took the permission of his Sadguru for his Shiradi trip and after arranging for the expenses, left with the party of Shiradi. They all reached the place of the morning and went to the masjid at about 11 a.m. Seeing the concourse of the devotees assembled for the Baba's worship, they were all pleased, but Pan suddenly got a fit and fell senseless. They were all frightened, still they tried their best to bring him to his senses. With Baba's grace and with pitchers of water which they poured over his head, he regained his consciousness and sat upright as if he was just awakened from sleep. The omniscient Baba, knowing that he was a disciple of another Guru, assured him fearlessness and confirmed his faith in his own Guru by addressing him as follows: come what many leave not, but stick to your bolster support, that is Guru, and ever remain steady, always at one meant in union with him. Pant at once knew the significance of this remark, and thus he was reminded of his Sadguru. This kindness of Baba he never forgot in his life. Harichandra Pidale. There was a gentleman by name of Harichandra Pidale in Bombay. He had a son who suffered from epilepsy. He tried many allopathic and Ayurvedic doctors, but there was no cure. There remained only one way of remedy, thus resorting to the saints. It has been started in chapter 15. The Daskano and his inimitable and splendid kirtan spread the fame of Sai Baba in the Bombay presidency. Mr. Pidale heard some of these kirtans in 1910 and learned from others that Baba, by his touch and mere glance, cured many incurable diseases. Then a desire arose in his mind to see Sai Baba making all preparations and taking presents and fruit baskets. Mr. Pradale came to Shiradi with his family, wife and children. He then went to the masjid with them, prostrated before Baba and placed his sick son of the Baba's feet. No sooner Baba saw the child than an untoward thing happened. The son immediately revolved his eyes and fell down senseless. His mouth began to foam and his whole body began to perspire profusely, and it seemed as if he breathed himself out. Seeing this, the parents became very nervous and excited. The boy used to get such fits very often, but this fit seemed to persist long. Tears began to flow ceaselessly from the mother's eyes, and she began to wail, crying that her condition was like for that person who, being afraid of the robbers, ran into the house which collapsed for him, or like a cow fearing a tiger, ran into the hands of a butcher, or like a traveler who, being tormented by the heat of the sun, went to take refuge under the tree which fell upon him, or like a devout person going for worship into a temple which collapsed upon him. Then Baba comforted her, saying, "Do not wail like this. Wait a bit, have patience, take the boy to your lodging. He will come to his senses within half an hour." They did as directed by Baba and found that his words came true. As soon as he was taken into the Vada, the boy recovered, and all the Pitale family, husband, wife, and others were delighted, and all their doubts disappeared. Then Mr. Pitale came with his wife to see Baba and prostrated himself before him very humbly and respectfully, and sat shampooing his legs and mentally thanking Baba for his help. Baba then smilingly said, "Are not all your thoughts, doubts, and apprehensions calm down now? Hari, Lord will protect him who has got faith and patience." Mr. Pitale was rich and well-to-do gentleman. He distributed sweet mint on a large scale and gave Babas excellent fruits and betel leaves. Mrs. Pitale was a very sattvic lady, simple, loving, and faithful. She used to sit near the post, starting a Baba with tears of joy flowing down from their eyes. Seeing her amicable and loving nature, Baba was much pleased with her. Like God, saints are always dependent on the devotees who surrender and worship them with their heart and soul. After passing some happy days in Baba's company, the Pitale family came to the masjid to take Baba's leave to depart. Babas gave them Udi and blessings and called Mr. Pitale close by and said to him, "Babu, I had given you before rupees 2, now I give you rupees 3. Keep these in your shrine and worship, and you will be benefited." Mr. Pitale accepted these as prasad, prostrated himself again before Baba, and prayed for his blessings. A thought arose in his mind that as that was his first trip to Shiradi, he could not understand what Baba's meant. When he said that he had given rupees 2 previously, he was curious to have his mystery solved, but Baba kept silent. Mr. Pitale returned to Bombay. He narrated to his old mother all that had happened and the Shiradi and the mystery about Baba's giving him rupees 2 formerly. The mother also did not understand the mystery, but thinking seriously about that, she was reminded of an old incident which solved the mystery. She said to her son, "As you now went to the Sai Baba with your son, so had your father done when he took you to the Akkalkot for the Darshana for the Maharaj there many years ago. That Maharaj was also a Siddha, perfect yogi, omniscient and liberal. Your father was pure, devout, and his worship and accepted. He then gave you father rupees 2 for being kept in the shrine and worship. Your father worshipped them accordingly till his death. But therefore the worship was neglected and the rupees were lost. After some years, the memory of these 2 rupees also disappeared, and now, as you are very fortunate, the Akkalkot Maharaj has appeared to you in the form of Sai Baba just to remind you to your duties of worship and to ward off all dangers. Now beware henceforth, leave off all the doubts and bad thoughts, follow your ancestors and behave well, go on the worship, the family gods and the rupees appraised properly, and take pride in the blessing of the saint. Sai Samrata has kindly revived the spirit of bhakti in you, cultivate into your benefit." Hearing the remarks of the mother, Mr. Pitale was very much delighted. He came to know and was convinced about all pervasiveness of Baba and significance of his darshan. From that time, he became very careful and about his behavior. Mr. Amdekar, the Gopal Narayan Amdekar of Pune, was a devotee of Baba. He served for 10 years in the Abkari department in the Danas district in Jawhar state. From where he had to retire, he tried to get some other job, but he did not succeed. He was overtaken by other calamities and his condition grew from bad to worse. He passed 7 years in his condition, visiting Shiradi every year and placing his grievance before Baba. In 1916, his plight became worse and he decided to commit suicide in Shirdi. So he came there with his wife and stayed for 2 months. One night, while sitting in a bullock cart from Dishitwada, he resolved to end his life by throwing himself into a well close by. He proposed to do one way, but Baba wished to do some else. A few paces from this place, there was a hotel, and his proprietor, Mr. Sakun, a devotee of Baba, came out and accosted him. Thus, did you ever read this Akalpur Maharaj life? Amdekar took the book from the Sagun and began to read casually, or we may say providently. He came across the story which was to its effect during the lifetime of Akalgod Maharaj. A certain devotee suffered very much from an incurable disease, and when he could endure the agony and pain no longer, he became desperate, and to end his miseries threw himself one night into the well. Immediately the Maharaj came there and took him out with his own hands and advised him thus: you must enjoy the fruit, good or bad, of your past actions. If the enjoyment be incomplete, suicide won't help you. You have to take another birth and suffer again. So instead of killing yourself, why not suffer for some time and finish up your store for the fruit of your past deeds and be done with once and for all. Reading this appropriate and timely story, Ambedkar was such surprised and moved had he not got Baba seen through the story, he would have been no more. On seeing Baba's all pervasiveness and benevolence, his faith in him was confirmed and became a staunch devotee. His father was a devotee of Akalkot Maharaj, and Sai Baba wanted him to walk into the father's footsteps and continue his devotion to him. He then got Sai Baba's blessings too, and his prospectus began to improve. He studied astrology and gained proficiency in it, and thereby improved his lot. He was able to earn sufficient money and passed his afterlife in ease and comfort. Bow to Sri Sai and peace to be all. Bow to Sri Sai and peace to be all. Thank you.